changes on what we're going to do with membership. A lot of people have been giving positive feedback about the news, and obviously there has been a lot going on. This is going to be non-farm payroll this week, NFP.
Yeah, by the way, also to add to what he was saying, we are changing a lot of things around. We're always looking for feedback, ways we can improve, listening to suggestions that members have. So, the more feedback we get from you guys, the more suggestions you have that you tell us about, the more we can do something about it and start to, improve this community from a perspective that would really benefit you.
Oh yeah, let's go over, the first thing we're going to do is just read through this market overview for the week ahead.
All right.
So what to expect at the beginning of the week on Monday, we have Euro, China, GBP, and USD manufacturing PMI, which important piece of data that shows us how a certain economy is performing. On Tuesday, we also have very important information coming out. That is the Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision. Any interest rate decisions are always going to have an effect. If they decide to lower their interest rate, that could lead to even weaker AUD. However, if they decide to leave their interest rate at the same level, that may actually support the AUD. But at the moment, the main driver for it will most likely remain the coronavirus that is spreading across the world. So the coronavirus just creates uncertainty. On Wednesday, we have the normal survey type of data coming out. We expect a quiet day if there are no headlines about the coronavirus. After that, to the end of the week, we have some important data that you can check in the economic calendar. So this below, USD non-farm payroll is definitely going to be major if you guys want to trade that. And then after all that, the main driver for the markets this week will just remain the coronavirus. So we're just going to look out for headlines pretty much to do with that. And other than that, we're just going to proceed as normal and trade pretty much as technically as possible. So let's start it off. Let's come over to the charts. I'm going to go over most of the major pairs, and then I'm going to cover GJ too. So let's start off USD JPY. Let's bump up to the weekly time frame. So pretty much I had been monitoring this area for quite some time, seeing it as a potential lower high. And we actually, not this past week, but the week before, we got this bearish engulfing right at this 200-day moving average. But I was breaking it down all the way onto the daily time frame. I was trying to look for some daily structure. Now I can see things a little bit more clearly. Basically, we have this red highlighted zone. This is our key level. This has been rejected multiple times, and it's been listed as support multiple times as well. So right now, going into this week, what I'm really looking for is I'm either looking for a bounce on this level. As we can see, last week we closed extremely bearish. We got the moving averages pointing down, obviously. Close this candle, no wick, right? So right here, this is pretty much the deal. If we get some sort of signs of reversal, we're going to try to continue this uptrend. But if not, if we do manage to break below this red highlighted zone, we're going to just simply wait for a retest. We're not going to just short for nothing. We're going to wait for a retest back into this area, and upon confirmation, we're going to try to short this down to the weekly level. So UJ, we should get some direction as to what we are going to do with this pair pretty early this week. So let's head over to USEF. USEF, I just put together a little bit of a trade idea, but pretty much just coming in from the weekly and then working our way down. The weekly, we're just at this low. We're just at this low. We're below the moving averages. Obviously, we're pretty bearish. We started to consolidate up in this area at that low. So I dropped down here on this daily time frame. Pretty much what went on is we had a little bit of a pullback, met with some rejection, and then we pulled back again. We double topped last week in this area, retesting resistance. So again, we're just at a low right now. Necessarily, there's not too many trade ideas. Ideally, down to this 4-hour, just looking at some structure, I'm going to wait for a pullback at least to, I have this random line marked, this red line. So this is marked as, this is actually a daily level of resistance. So nothing really clearly available at the moment, but we're going to wait for a retest. And if I do get that confirmation, I'm going to try to short USD CHF.
Yeah, my analysis was very similar on that one.
Yeah, so it's just very bearish right now. Nothing. This is a pair USD CHF that I'll probably wait at least over the next 2 days to see some movement. To get back to this level, it's going to be a 1 to 2 day thing. So let's go to USD CAD. We'll start up on the weekly. So USD CAD, look at this weekly time frame. We made these bullish moves, but at the same time, we're still overall, very bearish in the sense that we have these lower highs that have formed, and we're coming back up now into this level. So let's hit the daily. The daily time frame, again, seeing lower lows, lower highs. I fibbed from this little minor pullback here into this new low. So pretty much this red highlighted zone came from the line chart. I saw resistance, resistance, support, 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 or resistance, support. So we're seeing a lot of indecision around this level previously as we come into this level. And last week closed with this, buyer's exhaustion. I'm going to look for some potential reversal, out of this area. If we do manage to this week just surge above, then it'll prove to us that the bullish trend is going to continue. But I do expect to see some reversal in this area. USD CAD, sort of going along with the theme of USD being kind of uncertain going into this week. So let's go to NZD USD. Let's start up on the weekly. So we finally had that fall off. This was actually given out in the signals. There was a call to actually, once the order came to entry, to close. As we can see, we were in on this order, but on the 4 hour, pretty much we were making these lower lows, lower highs. We had gotten in right here. We were in some profits. We were up around 40 pips at the max. And then we retraced. We had a little bit of a retracement, a little bit past entry right here. And then, overall, we had the huge dump off. So we've been with this move for pretty much the entire time. And that's coming up. We're going to go over your USD, don't worry. That's coming up from this weekly, indecision. We had these doji candles or these spinning tops, just very indecisive where the market's going. And then finally last week we got down and managed to break all the way below. Now on the daily, I'm looking at it like this. We're overextended here. We're coming into this level of support now. We could potentially see some sort of reaction out of this red highlighted zone. If not, if we find no resistance or support here, I'm really just looking to retest this monthly level one more time, and then from there we're going to look to see potentially reversal again. So NZD USD, looking bearish, but I am looking to see if it finds support in this red highlighted area right now, just based on some daily structure that we were playing in. So let's go to GU. GU's been playing around. So GU, overall, I have on the weekly, we have these, like this bearish confirmation area, but at the same time, we did manage to break above all of this consolidation. So I'm still in the mood of this weekly resistance is definitely major. Right now, we're kind of surging above. Let's go down to the daily. So the daily, we see a high, we see a higher low, and we see this high, and then we've sort of been forming this lower high, and then ultimately form these other lower highs, but we haven't managed to break below this level, this random line. I'm looking for price to retest this blue area, retest. If I were to draw this random line, this previous lower high right here, and then again, I'm looking for some rejection in that area. Unless if we do manage to break and close above this random line, and again, this is on the daily time frame, we do manage to break and close above there, then we'll reevaluate, potentially look for bullish opportunities on this. So we'll see how this plays out earlier in the week. Let's go to GJ. GJ on the weekly. Again, this one has a lot of bearish confirmation, monthly resistance, 200-day moving average, which this pair has been respecting. Last week closed with this seller's exhaustion, slight bullish candle, but nothing major here. I'm more looking at these two bearish engulfings and this exhaustion. So let's go down to the daily. The daily, so we have pretty much uptrend structure highs. The same thing we've been going over the last couple of weeks. You know, we have this high, we have this higher low, we have this high, and we've just been consolidating now within this range. We haven't been able to break above this 144.050 level or 144.100. We haven't managed to break above that at all. Right now, we are actually retracing. So if we come down to the 4-hour and just look at structure here, we had these higher lows that were forming. Ultimately, last week, those were broken. And now I'm looking at this pair as one of the earliest potential entries for this week. So GJ is definitely going to be high on my list where I'm going to be looking, because pretty much right now, if I get any sort of action on these lower time frames, I'm going to be looking for short opportunities for the signal room. So GJ is going to be short, and we're just going to basically just wait for some confirmation there. So that's everything that I got.
All right.
Pass it on to Nick. You guys have any questions? Feel free to just put it in the chat. Cool.
All right. See here. Good. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me just move a couple things so I can
get better
look here. All right. Cool. So as you guys know, I always start off with DXY, just to give us the better understanding of what's happening for the U.S. dollar, because it is the most traded currency currency. So we just want to see where the strength of it is, where it's potentially going, what we could see happen. And we did see that it has been significantly bullish on all these time frames except the 4-hour, and the 4-hour in particular is now bearish because of negative news surrounding FOMC at the end of last week. So we did see this kind of fall off here. It's testing this random line, which is kind of acting as a minor level of support right now. Nothing too clearly defined yet. I mean, it just opened. It wasn't a gap. So there isn't crazy amount of momentum left, but we are just waiting to see what's going to happen. Is it going to bounce from here? Then we can target maybe a higher high on this little push, maybe back up to this monthly around 98.50. Or could we see that this is just going to drop straight through this pattern, break all these minor supports, all the way down to this major support level around 96.45, 96.45 area, pretty much just to meet this prior low. So, I mean, this is definitely a possibility. It could just drop like a rock, cut through all this.
It closed last week with no wick at all.
Yeah, completely. I mean, this is, again, news-oriented, but, I mean, it's possible. We've seen it before. There's a lot of bearish momentum recently, and once DXY starts to drop, it kind of just, it kind of just falls. It moved me to AUD here. Okay, so back to DXY. So, yeah, we're just waiting to see what happens. One thing that we have noticed is that you can't really underestimate the power of the U.S. dollar, because you do think it may look like it's showing weakness, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get this huge bullish volume that pushes price up to a new higher high. So definitely don't underestimate it. Right now, there is a lot of news circulating, but we'll see. We're trying to look at those confirmations, and especially later in the week. Right now, it's looking kind of slow, so we'll see. Let's move ahead over to AUD USD. So this was a pretty good one. It fell out like crazy all last week. Like, look at this. Hold on, you cleared it? All right. So, yeah, I'm getting these annotation problems.
Oh, yeah, if you guys are annotating, don't write on the board. Don't write on the screen.
Yeah, please. And we have an idea to fix that later on, but right now I just need you to not throw off. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and just do a quick recap of the trends. All are bearish, monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, very bearish. So let's just run through it real quick. Here's the monthly. You can see very bearish, all of this, breaking support, testing his resistance, breaking support, testing his resistance. So the weekly is bearish as well. Look how steep this is, bearish as hell. Breaking support, testing his resistance, retesting, confirming a lower high. Once again, let's drop to the daily, see what's going on. So we had a little bit of a pullback, right? But then this was a confirmed lower high. Transition happened after the head and shoulders. This was our first lower high. And then we saw this neckline break, gave us a quick little retest. MA's held pretty well, plenty of confluence, and then price action just continued to drop. Gave us a great bearish signal right here. Big bearish engulfing on the daily, pushed price action lower, all the way back down to this low, which is where price is, finding its bottom right now, or, at least it seems to be.
Yeah.
Not many wicks coming off of these candles, so that's something to be aware of. We could definitely see price action just keep melting, in which case we'll be looking for, lower targets, potentially the weekly if we see another lower high with, certain confluences that we look for. Or we could see what's happened here, bounce, 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 happen here. We could see a bounce. It's very possible. Very, very possible, in which case it's likely that price action would come back up to 0.68. And then, this would be a potential lower high confirmation. We'd then look for the MAs that have more of an effect in this area, as well as strong bearish signals. So always engulfings, evening stars, exhaustion. Those are things we're looking for on a confirmed lower high, or to confirm a lower high, and then, enter on that continuation. So this is actually looking pretty clean. I'm pretty excited for AUD this week. A lot of room to move here. We have, potentially 100 pips swing back up to this area, and then, way lower if we see closure, retest on the underside of this broken support, which would then be turn resistance. Plenty of room to drop. So, yeah, definitely a lot of volatility coming out of AUD in the next couple of weeks or so. We could see some consolidation as well in this area, maybe a flag, and then, we'll see. We're just looking for those confirmations, and, I would love to see this if we just have a nice little fib. Let's say this was the bottom, a nice pullback into this 38.2, a nice minor resistance level in here, something like that. That'd be really cool to see. Maybe all the way up to this 50%. We'll see. AUD USD on a daily time frame. Move over to AJ. Looking similar, very bearish as well, just like AUD. Let's go ahead and zoom out to the. So again, yeah, here we are. Monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, all bearish as hell. I'll show you guys, starting on the monthly. Very, very bearish. Lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high. Breaking support, turning resistance. Breaking support again, turning into resistance. Very significant, guys. Very, very significant. So let's drop to a weekly. Again, same thing. Very bearish, super steep. And then we have this bit of a flag here, right? So here's a big push. Here's that retest, testing on monthly resistance level. Let's go drop to the daily, see where we're at. Yep, so this flag broke. Price action pushed, it actually gapped out of this support, pushed much lower outside of this pattern. And right now we're just looking to see what's going to happen. Is it going to keep melting all the way down to this weekly, which is, where this lowest low was over here? Or are we going to see more consistent structure, something that's more sustainable? So we want to see those lower highs. Will price action consistently form deeper lower highs, to a 38.2, followed by lower lows, and so on and so on. That would be the most sustainable, in which case we'd be able to enter multiple times as this trend continues. So I would love to see a nice pullback, retrace to this 73.6 area. This seems like a good area with a lot of confluence. We have the MAs coming down. This is a nice random line in here, also acting as minor resistance now. It was minor support. You can just see it's a nice little significant area, a little resistance here, a little support, double bottom, tested here again. So this would be a nice area to enter in on. We're just gonna look at those confirmations as well. Clean transitions. I've been liking AUD quite a bit lately. It shows you so much before it's ready to make a move. You get a clean transition, a nice little pullback, and then opportunity to enter on. That's what hopefully we'll see again over here. So sort of entry opportunity in this area. Let's go ahead and move on to Euro USD. I saw somebody requesting it, Giovanni, who wanted Euro USD. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overall time frames.
Oh, wow.
Monthly, weekly, daily bearish, 4 hour bullish. So let's just start at the top so it's less confusing. Bearish as hell on the monthly here, right? Very, very bearish. Breaking support, turning resistance, tested once, gave us those setups, and then dumped. Let's go to the weekly, see what's going on. Yeah, it's kind of See, this is looking kind of choppy. Still bearish. Still clearly bearish. You know, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Very, very bearish. But it is kind of choppy. You know, you're getting like just like a whole month in here before we get any clear direction of candles, and then we're starting to make its move. So let's see if we could identify something a little more recent in price action. So yeah, this daily here, this daily was bullish, but now it's looking like we're continuing back into this overall bearish trend. We had a clean transition here after this head and shoulders formed, right? This was a confirmed lower high. Here's a lower low. We're looking for that lower high in this area. This is also the neckline for the head and shoulders. So we'll see what happens in here. Right now, this is definitely news related. Again, this is Euro USD, so you know the USD news is heavily affecting this. So we're just gonna wait. I mean, this is a big candle. It's about 60 pips. So we'll see if it holds or not. Will we see a reversal? I would love to see some sort of consolidation. Then the bearish volume will start to pick up. Ideally, that would be perfect. You know, there's a fib level in here. We would love to enter on those setups with that confirmation. Good confluence area. Want to get back below this random line here, right around 1.107. That would be ideal. Then we could simply target down to this 1.09850 and potentially even lower to 1.0950. Okay, so if we do see those confirmations, you know, we got about 100 pips, 150, 140 pips roughly. That we could capitalize on this trade. So, I mean, this is just Euro.
This thing could also swing all the way back up.
It could. I'm just not considering this candle here as significant weight because of the news on Fridays. I mean, but we'll see. I mean, again, like, let's say what Angelo just said. If we see it pop back up, we could see it consolidate in this area, or we could see it blow through this resistance, in which case we would start reassessing for longs, right, instead of a bearish continuation. So again, it's all about waiting for those confirmations, reading the market. You know, we do have a lot of bearish pressure here still, especially with this 200 EMA still hovering, this pattern, this minor resistance. So we'll see. Euro USD, guys. I did cover AJ already. I just covered it right before this, Max, but it's going to be recorded so you can watch again as much as you want. Let's keep moving now. Euro JPY. This one is looking pretty good too. I want to address this. So the monthly is ranging in the sense that it's forming, you know, lower highs, higher lows. It's kind of squeezing price action. The volume is kind of dying off, and we're just kind of ranging in between this area. So let's go ahead and look at the weekly. The weekly is bearish. You know, lower lows, lower highs repeatedly, breaking support, testing into resistance. Very, very bearish on the weekly. So let's drop to the daily, which is bullish, as we can see here. It's a bit of a flag pattern. Right? This is bullish since September, late September. And right now we're getting what may potentially be the breakout of this flag, right? The bearish continuation that we have been waiting for. Right now we're seeing a lot of consolidation after this large push last week. This is EJ, so we did capitalize on this. We saw that price action had tested this high once more, and then showed a transition, followed by which was confirmed by this engulfing, followed by another engulfing, and so on, and pushed all the way down to this low. So from here, we want to see price action pop lower, retest, and then give us another signal, and then we can target down to 118. So a lot of pips on this pair that we had. Let's see. We're looking at about over 200, so this is great. Or if we see price action start to make a reversal from this level, we want to see it pop up back above here into this channel again. You know, we want to see that it's significantly going to push back up. We want to see those bullish candles. We want to see the MA cross, and pretty much just a clean transition. So whatever happens, we're going to be ready for it. We're just looking for those transition guys with those clear confirmations. So EJ looking good. We had a big payout last week again. Hopefully we'll get another one this week. I would love to see this thing drop. Another 200 pips would be icing on this one.
Nice.
So I got one more for you. NZ CAD. Just because this one looks so good as far as structure goes. So let's take a look at the overall higher time frame. So monthly is bullish, weekly is bearish, daily is bullish, 4 hours bearish. Let's go ahead and jump to the monthly. Right, big range, humongous range. We just see price action bouncing, up and down between this resistance and this support. So we're not going to really consider that one too much. We're going to drop to the weekly. This is looking pretty bearish, right? Lower highs, lower lows, break of support, turn of resistance, retesting as resistance. Huge bearish engulfing, so it's definitely looking bearish here. We're just going to try and capitalize on that continuation. So right now, here we are on the daily, right? So it's been kind of bullish here. And then we're getting what looks like a head and shoulder, right? So a bit of a fake out. Wasn't a significant break above. It didn't hold any weight above this monthly. But in fact, we saw a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. And this is the neckline here, which has just been broken these last 3 days. So this is looking really interesting. So this is, like, let's say this is a confirmed head and shoulders. The neckline's broken. We want to see a nice retrace right to this neckline, followed by, like a huge engulfing, bearish engulfing, or an evening star, something that would give us good signals right off these MAs to then enter short on, and we would target all the way down to this weekly. We just want to fill this zone here. So this is looking so promising for NCAD. Again, it's like a 200 pip trade right here to be had. So this is looking interesting. I love this zone that it's at right now. Key resistance, good rejection. So yeah, just conservative entry would be a nice retrace followed by those confirmations with tons of confluence. I can already count so many that could potentially show themselves here. But yeah, we'll be covering this one. Stay alert in the signals room. If you guys remember, if you're not, message us definitely. These are going to be some pretty crazy trades. We always have to stay on top of it in the signal room. So this is going to be super interesting. Somebody wants gold. I'll cover gold briefly. Yeah, so gold's being tricky because it's not really giving us too many opportunities to enter at it from a conservative standpoint. So like here would have been the most ideal, right? The 38.2. However, there is no body closure at the 38.2. It's just the wicks, right? So price action pushed up swiftly as we saw, came back down, tested 38.2, didn't close on the 38.2. So super upsetting to see that, kind of a missed opportunity. But we were getting ready for, a second touch, maybe a double bottom, something in this area. Never happened. Price action just kept pushing up. Again, gold is a safe haven, so sometimes this does happen. The thing just pushes. It just pushes. Never gives you a chance to enter on unless you're super aggressive. But at that point, will it really be worth it? You could drop down to some of these lower time frames, maybe try and capitalize on some sort of lower time frame retracement, something like that. But as far as the overall move goes, all of these entries would have been aggressive in my opinion. But right now, it doesn't look like gold is just going to continue higher. I mean, I've said this before. It's so likely that 1650 could be hit. We could see this in the next few months for sure. But yeah, that's gold. I actually haven't been trading gold that often, that much in the last month or so. I caught this move, this rise, but yeah, no. Right now we're just waiting for something to happen because there is a lot of news still surrounding U.S. dollar. So we're just going to stay focused on Forex for the most part. However, I will post an analysis on gold every once in a while if you guys just want to, enjoy that, analyze it.
Hell yeah. You want to just recap the ones you went over?
Yeah, so guys, just real quick for you, I just covered gold, but we did DXY as always. Always cover DXY, AUD USD, AJ, Euro USD, Euro JPY, and NZ CAD.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
So guys, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Ask around where you get set up. You can message me on Instagram. I'll give you the sign up. Either of us. I'm Nick FX. He's Saved by FX. Feel free to message us or message us on Discord.
Yeah, you're not in the Discord. Get in the Discord. And there's going to be a lot of updates to come soon. So we're going to call it a session now. The Super Bowl Sunday. If you guys like football, obviously enjoy the game. We're going to go enjoy it ourselves. But at the same time, we just went over a lot of opportunity this week in the market, whether we are waiting for retracements or whatnot. But just make sure you stay ready, right? And this is recorded. So we're going to put this. Yeah, go Chiefs, bro. I'm with you, Bradley. We're going to put this, obviously, the recording. We'll upload it to YouTube, post it in here. And, yeah, you guys can go back and rewatch it. And best of luck this week. If you're in the signal room, obviously look out for signals that are going to be going out. If you're just in here for free, you're just getting some extra knowledge. Bless up for you. And yeah, enjoy today and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I just dropped the Discord link there, so make sure to click it, get in, and I'll see you guys.
Peace out.